Hello and welcome to this episode of my Cambridge United career mode. And now this episode is going to be a bit different as there is no actual game footage. This is one of the worst episodes for the virus that I had, as all the game footage from this episode got corrupted. So this episode will be going over all of the transfer business we did, and then at the end I will have the 3 fixtures that would have been in this episode, the result of those. So let's get into it with the first transfer of the episode. The first transfer was our veteran center back Michael Nelson leaving to Doncaster in League One for a fee of £60,000. He was 34 years old. He was our starting center back, but I felt that it was the best it was the best decision to let him leave for a minimal fee rather than keep him and let his overall keep decreasing. As he started at 62, he had already dropped to a 61, and he was already 34. Next is Ian Miller, our other starting center back, leaving to Shrewsbury in League 2 for £150,000. He was 31 years old, and he was only a 60 overall, and I felt that it was best that we move on from both of our center backs. Even though I liked Miller when he played, I just figured that we could get some better, younger talent in that would better ourselves for the future. Next is another deal with Shrewsbury, this time Robbie Simpson, our backup striker, leaving to Shrewsbury for £180,000. He was 29 years old, he was only a 60 overall, and I didn't really use him too much, and he was starting to get a little unsettled at the club, so I decided to move on from him, get some extra funds in, and find a replacement for him. And this was the toughest one, Luke Chadwick leaving to Birmingham in the Championship for a fee of £200,000. He was playing well for us, but we have Donaldson, who's a cam, playing at right mid, and I figured if we could get money for him, and lots of it for us, we would be better to move on from the 34-year-old central attacking midfielder. And for a fee of £200,000, he's moving up to the Championship rather than where we usually would be in League 2, so I figured that it would be a good move for both us and for Chadwick. And now for some loans. First we have Aaron Bentley from Plymouth Argyle in League 2 on a loan. He is 19-year-old center back. He's only a 50 overall, but I figured that he was cheap and he would be good to come in just in case we have a whole bunch of injuries. Just a small minor pickup just in case we get hit with the injury bug. And now arguably the biggest signing, another one on loan, this time from Fulham, Mousa Dembele, the 18-year-old striker who's a 65 overall. He is our replacement for Kwesi Appiah, who left right back to Crystal Palace in January, or just before that maybe, I don't exactly remember. But this guy is going to be amazing for us, paired with Tom Elliott at the strike partnership. That strike partnership, will be amazing. Next is a depth free agent acquisition in Rodrigo Ramalho, or Ramayo, I'm not sure how to pronounce that yet, but a 24-year-old striker, 56 overall only, but he's a good backup striker for Tom Elliott and now Mousa Dembele, if either of them gets hurt or if they need a rest. Now for one of my favorite transfers, we got Tom Naylor back from Derby, this time on a permanent for £100,000. He's a 23-year-old center back, at 61 overall, and we had him on loan for the first couple months of the season, and then he left back to Derby. Now I really enjoyed when he was playing, and he actually overtook Nelson for the starting center back role, so I was really happy to bring him back to the club. And now for some free transfers. The first one coming next year will be Adebayo Akinfenwa, acquired from AFC Wimbledon in League 2. He's a 32-year-old striker. He's a 62 overall as of right now. He'll likely decrease, but he's on the lowest wages you can give a player, and he's for $750, and he's just a good depth pickup. He's strong, one of the strongest in the game. He's a well-known player, and it was just nice to pick up another depth. Arguably, one of our better acquisitions on a permanent is actually Eastham from Rochdale and from League One. He's a 23-year-old center back, a 61 overall. We'll get him next year, and him and Tom Naylor, I'm hoping, will grow to like 65-ish maybe, and be two good center backs as we try to climb up through to the championship and eventually to the Premier League. And this is to make up for the loss of Luke Chadwick next year. Will be Joel Grant from Yeovil Town in League One on a free. The 27-year-old right midfielder is a 64 overall with lots of pace, and him and Donaldson in the center of the park, not in the center of the park, but in the midfield, is going to be an amazing partnership, and I'm hoping for big things next year with these. And finally, we have Matt Tootle from Crewe Alexandra from League One. He is another player on a free. He is a 24-year-old right back and is a 60 overall, and he can play left and right back. So he will likely be taking over for Greg Taylor on the left while Lanzoni continues playing on the right. And that does it for the transfers. And now here are the three results that we missed. Versus Carlisle, a 2-0 victory at Morecambe, a 1-0 victory, and a 2-0 loss at home versus Newport. So 6 points out of this episode. I'm sorry I couldn't show you it, but sometimes that kind of stuff happens. But I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode where we actually have some more footage. I'll see you then. Goodbye.